Let me know when you're ready. Okay, I call this meeting to order, a regular meeting of the Planning and Zoning Commission. Are there any petitions from the public? Have we received any petitions from the public? Will?
No, I do not have any petitions from the public at this time. Sorry.
Okay. All right, we'll move on to item 3, approval of the minutes from the regular meeting of February 16th, 2022. Did everybody have, oh, sorry, go ahead.
I need to apologize here due to an oversight on my part. I did not actually get them into the packets.
Yeah, I just.
That's my apologies.
I thought someone joined. Yeah, I noticed that earlier. I did go on and review the minutes that are posted online. I noticed that there were some format changes from how the meeting minutes have been drafted in the past. So I'm curious about that. And I don't know if everyone else had a chance to review them.
I did not.
Okay,
Ms. Reddy, may I comment?
sure.
The minutes that are on the website, if that's what you're looking at, are action minutes instead
Got
of
you.
full minutes. So the
Okay.
full minutes unfortunately did not get put in the packet. I think we all took a part in that. We were all putting it together for the first time. So,
it happens.
but I did just email them to you. You can certainly table this until the next meeting. There's no urgency to approve the minutes. That'll give you time to review them.
Yeah, I think that might be best. The best course of action. Does anybody want to make a motion on that?
I make a motion that we review and table accepting the minutes for next meeting. I don't know if that's correct or not, but
I think it's sufficient. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, everybody in favor, say aye.
I,
Anybody opposed? Please say nay. Okay, then it's been approved that we table the approval of the meeting minutes from February 16th to our next regular meeting in April. Okay, moving on. Item number 4, we've got a conditional use permit for apartments in the C1 district. Will, do you want to introduce that?
Before I do, I believe Mr. Romberger has something he'd like to add.
Okay, thank you.
Procedurally, we did miss roll call after call to order.
We did. Okay, thank you for pointing that out. My bad. I totally skipped over call to order and went directly to the petitions. Okay, let's go back, I guess, to item 1. And I believe I did call the meeting to order. I need roll call.
All right, Chair Reddy.
Here.
All right. Vice Chair Shaw,
Here.
Ms. Peterson,
here,
Ms. Riley, Mr. Romberger.
Here,
Thank you very much.
Okay, and I believe it's okay to go back to item number 3 now. I mean, item number 4, the conditional use permit.
Okay, I may read the summary to you all. The applicant, Caden Williams, is requesting approval for a conditional use permit at 511 Main Street. The conditional use permit is for the use of residential apartments within the C1 commercial zone. The apartments are intended to be on the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th floors of the property. The 4th floor previously was Kate's Books and is now reverting back to its original use.
Okay, anybody have any questions or comments about this?
I have a question because what I have conditional use permit is section 302 and you have it as 501 conforming situation.
Non-conforming.
Yeah, so I'm confused on that.
That may be simply an oversight on my part that I need to correct.
Is it possible that was it previously a non-conforming use
Yes,
before
oh,
now?
Yes, it was. And it is a non-conforming use in the C1 zone. So it may have come out of that for conditional uses in a non-conforming situation.
So
But
is it a combined thing then? Is it non-conforming and conditional?
Well, yes, the building is non-conforming, and as
Okay.
it is, yes, as it is a non-conforming building, that status remains. And the conditional use is the apartment within the the apartment within the commercial zone that is
Okay.
within the non-conforming building.
Okay.
Right, so the only issue before the board is whether to grant the conditional use permit. It's not our interest about whether or not it's a non-conforming building, although it is, but that's fine. So it's been 2 apartments and 1 bookstore? And it's
Yes,
gonna go back to 3 apartments?
yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah, the only comment I would have about what's in the packet is some discussion about a parking permit.
Right.
Where'd that go? Case books. I saw this somewhere once. Off-street parking provided in residential apartments. Da, da, da. The applicant wishes to apply for 3 on-street parking permits for the apartments. That also is, I mean, this board doesn't grant parking permits. That's a separate functionality, but that's fine. Yeah, oh, here's a comment. It was a project description, the last bullet point. The project is respectfully requesting 3 parking spaces on School Street. These parking permits shall correspond to each rental unit.
That is actually from the applicant. That was his description of the business, which I felt to include. That wasn't anything we wrote. That's
Right.
from the applicant.
Okay, yeah, fine. Yeah, that's what it looked like. Will, I just wanted to make sure that we all understand that this board is not granting parking spaces and we're not guaranteeing to be on School Street. As a matter of fact, I'm not sure that's the way that the parking permits work. I think you get them by zones or something.
That'll be a separate issue entirely.
But
I believe.
that's a completely separate issue. This commission doesn't care what happens there.
Right. I think just a matter of whether it conforms to the ordinance, I guess, for required parking spaces. I mean, but since it's not really changing use, it's the same required parking as it was before.
Right, it's a less intensive use, and that's part of the non-conforming part, right? It's like non-conforming in the sense that they have those famous we can't see them parking spaces. You can't walk down there and put your finger on it and say, there's a parking space, there's a parking space, there's a parking space.
Right. It's the
right.
nature of the beast.
Right. But the use is less intensive, and so we don't have any like additional parking requirement, right? If they wanted to open a restaurant there and put 45 tables in, they'd need to provide more parking.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I agree. Are there any more questions or comments or any more commentary?
I didn't have any more commentary. I don't have any other issues, questions, problems.
No, from what I understand, it's going back to how it was originally used was residential, like the 3 stories and the
yeah.
retail on the bottom. So
Yeah,
it's
that should work good. I think the apartment on the third floor should be attractively priced, since the person who lives in that apartment has to be 5 feet tall and have a pointed head. But I don't see any issues with the conditional use permit. I'd be inclined to approve it, I guess.
All right. Anybody want to make a motion on this?
I'll go ahead and make a motion that we approve the conditional use permit for the apartment in C1 per item 4 at 511 Main Street.
I'll second that.
Okay,
And all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, please say nay. No, nobody opposed. The measure passes and is approved. Now we're moving on to item number 5, amending the P and Z bylaws regarding meeting dates. Will, do you want to introduce that for us?
Absolutely. Now, what we propose is changing the dates for the regular meeting time from the third Wednesday of each month to the third Tuesday of each month. The idea is just to normalize the structure of the meetings so that they all land on Tuesdays, and makes it both easier to plan and schedule for, as well as makes it slightly more accessible to the public.
It sounds good. Not only would they be on Tuesday, but they'll be in the right order, right?
yes. So we would be, I think, the first week, and then the council would be second, and then DRB would be third. But that's up to them. So we're, yeah, as far as,
No, I think it goes the other way. Council is first.
no, actually, were you at the special meeting, we were talking, they wanted things to come to us first, and then they wanted
Oh.
to go over it. And then they said the DRB could be like third if it even goes through the council. So that was
It's
kind of the
not
order.
structured that way.
Ms. Reddy? may I
Yes,
comment, please?
please.
Right, and what you see on that list that's in your packet, the very last table, it will show you that council meetings would be on the second Tuesday, P and Z would be on the third Tuesday, and DRB would be on the fourth Tuesday.
Oh,
So that would be the right order, and that would give us 2 weeks between the DRB and the council meeting for us to get the draft minutes into the council packets.
That makes sense. Well, I mean, it certainly makes sense to me to have this more structured meeting schedule. I don't know if anybody else has any questions or any more comments on that. Is everyone, I mean, I guess,
Well, I'm on board with the idea. I mean, I'm just eager to have, the way I think of it is this is whatever the staff wants and the council approves is fine with me as a commissioner. Namely, it's for the convenience of the staff and what makes it easy for them to prepare the minutes and so on. So
as long as nobody has any, ongoing conflicts with Tuesdays, it shouldn't be an issue.
Yeah.
All right.
right.
Anybody
So
want-
let me clarification that planning and zoning it meets when?
Third,
was it
it's
the-
listed as the third Tuesday of the month. Rather than the third Wednesday, it would be the third Tuesday.
Yeah, because I understood through the special meeting that the council wanted us to go over things first, and then they wanted, like, if we approve something, that they would, but that's what I heard at the meeting, but, so it doesn't
Well,
matter.
Well, yeah, the planning and zoning's third Tuesday would be before the council's next month, second Tuesday, right? It'd be-
Okay, so we would be like, kind of,
There were still 2 weeks in front of them. It's
we're just kind of like, I see, okay.
right. We're 2 weeks in front of them, but we're looking at our March meeting to their April meeting, right?
There
Okay.
we go. Yeah, that's a good way to describe it.
So basically, we're just moving up a day from
Yeah.
our ones.
Correct.
Right.
I don't have a problem with that. I'll make a motion to change our meetings to the third Tuesday of every month.
Okay, I'll second.
Okay, all in favor of amending the bylaws to change the meetings to the third Tuesday of every month, please say aye.
I,
Right.
All those opposed, please say nay. Nobody opposed. The measure passes. We'll amend the bylaws to change our meetings to the third Tuesdays of every month. And moving on, we've got item 6, updates of recent and upcoming meetings. And I'll turn that over to Will again.
All right. February 17th, the Board of Adjustment meeting, a variance was approved for the setback on 776 East Avenue. That was the variance to avoid the historic rock wall, couple feet to move the footings out. March 7th, the Design Review Board meeting was canceled, which, we gotta fix that. I see a typo on cancel. The March 8th council meeting, second reading and adoption of the 2018 International Fire Code. Second reading and adoption of new residency requirements for town manager and clerk. Renewed the appointments to the Planning and Zoning Commission and the Board of Adjustment. Approved of 2 conditional use permits for 515 Main Street, a wine tasting room and a residential apartment, both in the same building in the C1 district. And council noted needing changes to definitions in the zoning ordinance regarding spirituous liquor tasting facilities and dining room seating, which is something that is on my burner that I'm working on.
Sounds good. Anybody have any commentary on those items?
Yeah, I've got a quick question. The adoption of new residency requirements for town manager and clerk, is that the removal of the requirement that they live in town?
Yes, that is.
Yeah, okay. All right, good, thank you.
and with the changes for the spirited liquors tasting, what, I haven't had a chance to listen to the council meeting. What were the changes to allow for dining seating or?
No, the changes was just simply for the definition. Now, spirituous liquor tasting facility is a definition that is used at the state level. So I don't believe it's likely that we'll want to modify that. That way we can all be on the same page when we're discussing that issue. However, dining room seating can definitely use some improved defining as to what constitutes dining room seating.
Okay,
I hope that answered the question.
so, okay, but nothing specific or any, what
I
were the-
didn't get any more specific instruction than that,
Oh.
other than when I was going through and working on the staff report for that, I also noticed the deficiency in that definition. There's a lot
Okay.
of gray area.
Yeah,
Can I-
with table chairs
can I-
around.
Can I make a comment about spirituous liquor facilities and dining room seating?
Please.
Yeah, Jared, we've talked about this issue before on the board. I mean, before you were there, and the concern is always separating a spirituous liquor tasting facility from either a bar or a restaurant in terms of parking and those kind of requirements. And those definitions are usually around how many tables, how many chairs, how many stools, how many feet of bar space do you have to stand while you taste wine, or can you sit? And if you can sit, can you sit on a couch? And if there's a coffee table in front of the couch, does that count as a table? And does that make it a dining room? And does that turn it into a restaurant? And so I'm sure that's what the council is driving at. Those kinds of definitions has always been a little fuzzy. We've gone into a wine tasting facility and said, we'd be happier if you took those tables out. It's like, well, which ones? Well, just those. But but the smaller ones can stay, that kind of, that kind of stuff. So I can understand why the council is looking for some clarification and some additional definitions.
Yeah, because I know that we had that comment about the plans that were presented with basically the table and the chairs around it.
Yeah, exactly. I think
Yeah, I
I was,
remember. Yeah,
I was the one that mentioned that. It's like, gee, if you took those 2 tables out and put in a couch, we'd be happier, right? And that's,
coffee table, not,
yeah, there you go.
however, it wouldn't be coffee, but yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
I've
think
I've always wondered what do they call a coffee table in a Mormon's house? Did you?
Illegal or something.
Yeah,
I
never
don't-
mind. Okay.
All right. So that brings us then, if there's no further questions or comments, I'll move on to item number 7. Potential items for our April Planning and Zoning meeting, which will be held on Tuesday, April 19th. It looks as though we may be discussing this issue at that meeting. If we're able to get something in draft form for us to review and discuss at that time. Is that correct?
Yeah, I believe I can have something to you well before that date.
All right. Anybody have any more concerns or questions about this meeting? All right, that brings us to item 8, which is adjournment. If we have a motion, I'll move that we adjourn.
I second it.
All right, all in favor, say aye.
I.
Right.
Anybody opposed, say nay. All right, this meeting is adjourned at 6:28 PM. Thanks, everybody, for bearing with me.
You're doing fun.
Anderson.
Okay, thank
I'm
you.
a little shaky. I'll remember to include roll call at the next meeting. I hope everyone has a good night.
All right, you too.
Everyone have a good evening.
Good night, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Good night.